Merry Christmas, everybody. Give Mac money for StarTelegram.com and Dallas Cowboys Overtime. This is Santa Claus. I spent a lot of money here furnishing the prop department. I am Fort Worth Star Telegram sports columnist Mac Engel to discuss yet another Dallas Cowboys win. Dallas Cowboys go to Washington with Mr. Clarence Chill Hill over there in D.C. and defeat the Washington team football, WTF. By, I don't know what the final score was. I didn't really care. They blew them out. Then they had to hold on because Clarence, the Dallas Cowboys are 9-4, but this team's got some serious problems, starting with a quarterback who's clearly hurt and an offense that can't really do what it was doing in the first 7 weeks of the season when they were 6-1 and they were averaging 32 points a game. Now, they did win on Sunday, and they have all but wrapped up the NFC East title and an appearance in the 2021 NFL playoffs, which is great. But, my good sir, are you as concerned about this offense as I am?
Yeah, I'm very concerned about the offense and the football team because, again, I've always said, and I've 100 times and 7 ways to Sunday, or however you want to say it, they don't hang division title banners at AT&T Stadium.
They do at Texas A&M, brother.
Of course, they don't hang any banners at AT&T Stadium because they haven't won anything since 1995. But the bottom line is, getting to the Super Bowl is what matters. It's not winning the division, outlasting the bad NFC East and getting to the playoffs and going one and done. And they are the ones who talked all season about this being special and have a chance to have a special season. And my confidence meter is way down on the Cowboys achieving that ultimate goal with quarterback Dak Prescott and offense in a slump. Mike McCarthy didn't want to call it a slump. Kellen Moore didn't want to call it a slump, the offensive coordinator. But Jerry Jones said it's fair to say Dak Prescott's in a slump, and that's not what you want when you're supposed to be playing your best football in December. And as you get ready to go to the playoffs, just looking at his numbers, they've been awful. They're awful of late. I mean, Prescott has had 16 touchdowns and 4 interceptions through his first 6 games. His last 6 games, 8 TDs, 6 picks, and that's after he came back from the calf strain. The Cowboys want to say he's not hurt. The calf is fine, but something's off. Something is amiss with Prescott and that offense because they're out of sync. They're out of rhythm. They don't look good. If they don't get it together, they won't have a long stay in the playoffs.
Well, it's weird. I actually feel pretty good about their chances for a reason that we'll talk about here in a little bit. But, Clarence, I got to tell you, I hope he's hurt. I hope he's banged up. Because if he's not banged up and this isn't a slump, then that means he stinks. And I'm sorry, I just don't buy a guy who was that good, that sharp through the first 7 weeks of the season before he suffered the calf injury on the last play of the game in the win at New England. I'm sorry, Clarence. I'm not going to buy that a guy who was that good and looked like an NFL MVP candidate, legit MVP candidate, is suddenly not in a slump or he's not hurt. Something is wrong. Now, they're saying the right things, but at least Jerry was honest enough to say, yes, it's fair to say he's in a slump. And my question is, do you think he's had injuries now? The shoulder, no big deal. The ankle last season, a huge deal. A calf injury, which Troy Aikman said can take a while to come back from. Is this guy hurt?
Well, that's make it make sense. Something has to make sense.
Yeah.
Something. It's not just I think there's a number of things going on. The running game is not what it was. The third downs are not as easy. But just some of the simple things of completing passes. He's not seeing it as well, whatever. Something's going on. Something's amiss. And just from a common sense standpoint, you don't play like he was playing early in the season, now play like he's playing now and say something's not wrong. It's if he's hurt or something's wrong with his fundamentals because he's hurt, he overcompensating something. Because let's be honest, I paid you $40 million a year. So when the offensive line has issues, when the running back has issues, I need you to overcompensate for them because you're the difference maker. Yep. I need you to make up for what we're missing here. That's what I expect.
Yep.
I don't expect you to be part of the problem.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. Now, there have been issues. Ezekiel Elliott is playing on a leg and a half. Tony Pollard couldn't go on Sunday because of a foot injury. He might be able to go against the Giants on Sunday in New York. Now Tyron Smith is going to be out this Sunday with a sprained ankle. That would be the fourth time this season he has missed a game. That offensive line is not good right now. Zach Martin suffered an injury during the Washington game, came back, but that line is not very good. I know La'el Collins is back, and that's okay, but the interior of that line has issues, whether it was Connor McGovern or Connor Williams or Tyler Biotis. There are issues there. There are reasons, but there are other things going on with Dak, like that pick six, that throw that he had against Washington there at the end of the game. I know they said that he didn't see the linebacker. Okay. Did he just not see him, or did he not put enough air under the ball? Because the receiver that he had behind him was wide open.
Yeah, he clearly didn't see the linebacker, but you're supposed to see those things. He should have seen it. We saw him. I saw the linebacker. You saw the linebacker. I don't know why he didn't see the linebacker. I don't know what's going on there, but that's just another part of the problem. If you look at this team, you go back to the Saints game. That second half against the Saints, they did nothing. And in this game, you're up 24-0, you're up 27-8, and the offense cannot close it out. You can't even get first down to close it out, before that. And then you get a chance, and then you throw a pick six, and the next drive you come out, you go throw it out, and the defense has to save you. There's something wrong, something amiss with this offense. And with Prescott, he's not even making the easy throws. Look at this. He can't even complete passes to the running backs. I mean, it's just not there. And I think play calling is part of it. I don't like the play call, the calls that Kellen Moore is making, but maybe Kellen Moore doesn't trust his play calls because of the way Dak is playing or whatever else. But
he doesn't trust his offensive line, Clarence.
All of that's part of it. But it's an issue. It must be solved.
Well, here's something that doesn't need to be solved. Here's something that is definitely not an issue. And that is the Dallas Cowboys rookie linebacker and Micah Parsons, who on Sunday once again made another case to win not only the NFL's Defensive Player of the Year award or Rookie Defensive Player of the Year award, but making a strong case to win its NFL Defensive Player of the Year award, which would be the first time an NFL rookie has achieved both since 1981 when Lawrence Taylor did it. Lawrence Taylor was a pretty good player, I think. Micah Parsons at Washington on Sunday had 2 sacks, forced a fumble, which led to a return for a touchdown by Dorrance Armstrong. In his last 6 games, he has 9.5 sacks. He can do anything. At one point, they dropped him into coverage. He was 30 yards downfield, and he almost came up with an interception. Clarence, we've seen some great defensive players at the Dallas Cowboys in their history. Randy White, DeMarcus Ware, Deion Sanders, Ed Too Tall Jones. I'm missing a bunch of other ones. But Micah Parsons right now, in my mind, is both the NFL's Defensive Rookie of the Year and NFL's Defensive Player of the Year award winner. Do you think he'll get both?
I don't know if he'll get both, just because there's some other good candidates, whether it's T.J. Watt or
Aaron Donald.
Aaron Donald had a great game last night.
Yeah, no, he tore
and Myles Garrett in Cleveland and one of the Bosa brothers. They're all having good years. They're probably going to have more sacks, and I think there's going to be some bias to giving him to him as a rookie
for sure.
To a certain extent. But my thing is it's almost like a Player of the Year award. Somebody might have better stats or whatever else, but when you put all the stats together, no one's filling up the stat sheet like Micah. But more importantly, no one's had the impact on their team.
Right.
Cleveland's defense was already pretty good. We already knew what you had with Myles Garrett. Same way with T.J. Watt. But for what he's done coming in, this defense was one of the worst defenses in franchise history last year.
Right.
And for them now to go from where they were last year to where they are now, that is worthy of Defensive Player of the Year consideration, if not winning it. And certainly he's definitely a candidate, viable candidate as rookie. Should be easily the Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's no argument that his stats and his play and stature is worthy of Defensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I agree. And as we look at other Defensive Player of the Year candidates, because there's no other rookie who's in his category at all. But the other players, Aaron Donald for the Rams, obviously you mentioned, had a phenomenal game last night against the Cardinals. Myles Garrett's had another good year in Cleveland. T.J. Watt has had a nice season again in Pittsburgh. The Steelers are down, though, so that would help Micah's case. Matt Judon, linebacker for the Patriots. The Patriots are doing their thing. I didn't think they would, but they're doing their thing, and there's always love for a Belichick defense. And then another guy to throw in the mix. I don't think he's going to win it, but he might get some votes. Trayvon Diggs. I think the Aaron Donald thing is going to be hard to beat. There's a lot of love for Aaron Donald, deservedly so. The guy's an absolute wrecking crew. But the one part of it you hit on, I'm glad you mentioned it. The Cowboys maybe had the worst defense in the NFL last season, and now all of a sudden you're looking at a defense due in large part because of Micah Parsons. They can win a Super Bowl because of this defense. And I realized that this team is built around the offense. You've got you've got 6 guys who are either first-round picks or 2 other guys that were essentially 6 first-round picks playing on the offense. Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Lyle Collins. Lyle would have been a first. Amari Cooper was a first. CeeDee Lamb was a first. Zeke Elliott was a first. This defense has 2 first-round picks on it. Micah Parsons and Leighton Vander Esch. And Leighton Vander Esch looks like he's playing his way out of town. That's how good Micah Parsons has been. I've got to tell you, I think with the Cowboys defense playing the way they are right now, Clarence, I think they can get to a Super Bowl with that defense. Agree or disagree?
Well, I mean, it's funny because, we asked, Mike McCarthy about this yesterday, and he said you need a championship level defense to win, and certainly they spent a lot of resources in offseason to improve this defense. And even though you look at, you talk about all the first round picks, 7 of the 8 highest paid players in the Cowboys are on offense.
There you go.
Only one is on defense, and and that's DeMarcus Lawrence. He just came back, a couple of games after being out all season. But I guess if it's funny because before the season we said the way this offense is playing, if they can just be average on defense, if they can be average on defense, they can be special.
Yep.
Now you're like, the way this defense is playing, if they can be average on offense,
right? I know. Just give us 15
average
points
on offense, they have a chance to go. But I guess I hear what you're saying, and if you want to have greatness on one side of the ball, I guess you would have greatness on defense and greatness on offense, just because it's especially in December, especially in playoff football, you have to be able to stop somebody.
Yep.
And there's real hope and confidence that this defense can be special. The fact that they played so well with Micah, and now you're getting Randy Gregory back, now you're getting DeMarcus Lawrence back, now you're getting Neville Gallimore back. What you saw with the clinic they put out there, with that show they put out there against Washington. I know Washington's, Taylor Heineke, that's not Tom Brady, but the performance they had, you saw the potential of what this defense can be as they continue to get better, play together. That defense line, that rotation up front is going to be huge down the stretch. It's one thing that, the Cowboys talked about. Dan Quinn talked about, that rotation. He knows what a championship defense looks like from his days in Seattle when he led that Seattle defense to back-to-back Super Bowls. He talked about the versatility. Guys can play inside and outside. That's what he had in Seattle. That's what he has here. He has the defense is versatile. They have a lot of players. They're deep, and they have playmakers.
They do. And the one thing that really excites me about it is that they've got 3 legit pass rushers in Micah Parsons, a sack, and everybody. Tank Lawrence is a proven sack guy. And Randy Gregory, the play that he made early in the game at Washington, that's why they stuck with him. To do that, to bat a ball up in the air, to make that type of interception. Not many guys in this world can do that. And that's why the Cowboys stayed with him. Now you put in not only what Parsons could do as a pass rusher, but just what he can do every place else. You've got a safety that's got some ball hawking range in terms of Jaron Kearse. You've got a cornerback who's got phenomenal ball skills, something they have not had in a long time in Trayvon Diggs. You've got those guys, then you got a shot. And that's what excites me about watching this team. And you're right. You're looking at the offense, it's all banged up and shooting sideways. You think, boy, if you can get me 20 points, we can win that game. And especially with the way the rest of the regular season schedule shakes out, it's a lot of junk other than Arizona. I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. And I know it goes up and down. It's a 17-game regular season now, but I'm feeling pretty good about it, especially as the Cowboys. And unfortunately, we have to talk about this because it's the next game. Dallas Cowboys go at New York on Sunday. The Giants are 4-9. They've already fired their offensive coordinator, former Dallas Cowboys head coach Jason Garrett. Clarence,
what have they done since they fired Garrett?
They haven't scored at all. They've scored even less than they were scoring with him. Clearly, he wasn't the problem. I think he's a pretty good coach. I know he was a popular punching bag around here. He was a candidate for the Duke head coaching job, which I thought he was absolutely tailor-made for. Clarence, do you think Jason Garrett's going to be an NFL head coach ever again?
Oh no, he's not going to be NFL head coach
No?
again. No, not at all. He would be, you know, I think he should go to college and certainly he'd be a good college coach.
Yeah, I thought Duke was perfect for him.
But he's definitely not going to be NFL head coach again. No, that ship has sailed. That you know, he needs to move on from that.
Yeah, I think you're kind of right. We have to make a prediction here and give some fantasy football advice. The Dallas Cowboys are 10.5-point favorites. 10.5-point favorites over the Giants, who, you know, as I look up and down their stat sheet, don't really have anybody of note. They've got Daniel Jones, who has struggled in his second season. Saquon Barkley is a heck of a good running back, I think. Clearly not the same player because the offense is so bad. Devontae Booker's had a decent season, and Kadarius Toney will get you some numbers. But Clarence, let's do this first. Give me a prediction. I know what your prediction is. Will the Cowboys cover 10.5?
Listen, they almost didn't cover the 6.5 last week. You know? If you're a gambler, they were up 24-0, 27-8, and then it's 27-20. It was a 6.5-point spread, and luckily Washington missed the extra point. They got the extra point blocked, or they wouldn't have covered that. You know,
will they cover 10.5? I think they'll cover 10.
They should cover 10.5. You know, I don't know if Daniel Jones playing this week. He hasn't played the last 2 weeks. I don't know who
I don't know if he's in or not, or if it's going to be. The last time I checked, I think it was still a TBD. But does it really? I mean, and all candor, does it really matter? I mean, they weren't scoring when he was in there, anyways.
No, and Kadarius Toney is not playing, so he has COVID. The Cowboys should cover the spread.
Yeah, I think this game's going to be pretty boring. And
hopefully Dak Prescott and offense wakes up and they get some explosion and some points. And because that defense, if I have a fantasy football option, I'm taking the Cowboys defense.
Amen. That's a good pick. And I was going to say either the defense, and if Dak's going to get right and this offense is going to get right, and there's no better opponent than the New York Giants. They're so bad and so average. And now because the season's, you know, entering that final stretch, even though there's, you know, 4 or 5 games left, the Giants aren't going anywhere and their players know it. So they can be easily defeated mentally in terms of just morale. I got to say, if Dak's going to get it right, and I know New York can be hard with that wind in the Meadowlands, I'm putting my money on Dak getting right and having a decent day. So if I've got to go with fantasy advice, go with Dak Prescott.
With Dak Prescott, I'm going to Cowboys defense. You got Dak Prescott. I'm not trusting Dak Prescott right now because he got to show me something.
All right, as we approach now, we are less than 2 weeks away from Jolly St. Nick coming down the chimney for Christmas. Clarence, have you gotten your shopping done yet?
Am I a man or not?
That answer is no. The better question is, have you started your shopping?
Am I man or not? I mean, come on.
It's all right.
Who doesn't like the pressure of the last minute shopping? But you know, it's different. My kids are older.
I was going to say, how does that change?
Kids, I don't need to go to the toy store and do all that other stuff. They just want big ticket items from Amazon.
Yeah, I'm entering that phase now. My daughter is 12, and I think she's kind of understood what's been going on these last however many years. Slightly heartbreaking for me, but it's part of the evolution. So I haven't gotten her anything yet. Any advice?
She got the iPhone. And my daughter wants a new iPhone every week.
iPhone. Okay, good tip.
You know,
I'll ask you next time I see you.
I'm not buying you $1,000 iPhone.
Get
okay,
a couple $100 to pay for that.
Yeah.
Clarence, it's been fun. Have a fun time in New York. I'm sure the Dallas Cowboys are going to come back with a 10-4 record, and we'll have lots to talk about here on Dallas Cowboys Overtime on StarTelegram.com. For all of your Dallas Cowboys coverage needs, be sure to check us out on StarTelegram.com. He's Clarence E. Hill Jr. I'm Mac Engel. We'll see you next week.